You tried to explain yourself, and the more you talked, the worse it got. Every word you said, they twisted, reshaped, used against you like ammunition you handed them yourself. You watched it happen in real time. Your truth becoming their weapon. Maybe it was during the argument where you tried to defend your intentions, and somehow you ended up apologizing for things you never did, or the meeting where you explained your position, and they took every point, every clarification, and built a case that made you look exactly like what you're not. The message thread where you tried to set the record straight. 2 paragraphs turned into 10. 10 turned into a novel. And at the end, you realize you just gave them everything they needed to destroy you. That feeling in your stomach. It's not just anger. It's the sick realization that you played yourself. You handed them the knife, showed them exactly where to cut, and wonder why it hurt so much. Because here's what nobody tells you about manipulation. The manipulator doesn't win with their words. They win with yours. Every explanation, every defense, every attempt to make them understand is data, information they're collecting, cataloging, preparing to deploy at the exact moment it damages you most. You felt it, that moment when you knew you'd said too much, the shift in their eyes, the slight smile, the way they suddenly got quieter, while you got louder, more desperate, more determined to be understood. And here's the part that keeps you up at 3 a.m. You knew something was wrong. You felt the trap. You saw the manipulation happening. But you couldn't stop yourself from walking right into it. Because they know something about you, about all of us. We've been trained, conditioned, programmed to believe that more communication equals better outcomes, that silence equals guilt, that not defending yourself means admitting fault, that letting accusations hang in the air makes them true. So you talk, you explain, you defend, you clarify, you overshare, you fill every uncomfortable silence with words that become your undoing. The gaslighter needs your words to gaslight you. The manipulator needs your explanations to manipulate you. The narcissist needs your reactions to feed on. Without your words, they have nothing, but you didn't know that yet. So you gave them everything, your reasoning, your feelings, your vulnerabilities, your fears, your hopes, your past mistakes, your future plans. All of it laid out like a blueprint, showing them exactly how to dismantle you. And the worst part, the part that makes your jaw clench even now, is that you did it thinking you were being honest, authentic, real. You thought your transparency would earn their respect. Your vulnerability would create connection. Your truth would protect you. It didn't. It gave them power while taking yours away. That conversation where you finally open up, where you thought you were building trust, you were actually showing them your weaknesses, your buttons, your triggers, your breaking points. And they filed it all away, stored it, saved it for the moment when using it would hurt you most. You've seen it happen. The argument 3 months later, where they casually mentioned something you said in confidence. The meeting where your words from a private conversation suddenly become public knowledge. The relationship where everything you shared in intimacy becomes ammunition in anger. This is the wound. The realization that your honesty, your authenticity, your desire to be understood has been weaponized against you. And the question burning in your mind right now is simple, brutal, essential. How do you stop giving them the weapons? How do you protect yourself without becoming cold, closed off, dead inside? How do you win when every word you say seems to make you lose? The ancient Stoics, men who face a trail that would destroy us, they knew something that changes everything. But first, you need to understand why everything you tried has failed. They told you that communication is always the answer, that talking things through solves problems, that expressing yourself is healthy, that silence is passive-aggressive, manipulative, cowardly. They lied, or more accurately, they gave you a truth that works in healthy relationships and watch you apply it in toxic ones, where it becomes your destruction. Because here's what they didn't tell you, what they couldn't tell you, because they don't understand it themselves. In the presence of manipulation, communication is not connection, it's ammunition delivery. Every word you speak, they're not listening to understand, they're listening to extract, to find the weakness, the contradiction, the vulnerability they can exploit. You thought you were having a conversation. They were conducting reconnaissance. You thought you were explaining your position. They were mapping your defensive positions, finding the gaps, the soft spots, the places where pressure breaks you. Think about the last time you tried to defend yourself against someone who was determined to misunderstand you. You started with a simple statement. They questioned it, so you elaborated. They found an exception, so you clarified. They found a contradiction with something you said 3 weeks ago, so you explained the context. They accused you of making excuses, so you got emotional, and that's when they said it. Why are you getting so defensive? And just like that, your emotion became proof of your guilt. Your passion became instability. Your attempt to be understood became evidence that you're unreasonable. This is a trap. The more you try to prove you're right, the more you prove them right about you being wrong. The more you explain, the more complicated it gets. The more complicated it gets. The more guilty you look. The more guilty you look. The more you need to explain. It's a death spiral, and they designed it that way. Meanwhile, watch what happens when they're accused. They don't explain. They don't defend. They deflect. They counterattack. Or, and this is the key, they go completely silent, cold, unreachable. And what do? You pursue. You press. You demand answers. You fill the silence with accusations that sound increasingly unhinged because you're talking to a wall. And who looks crazy now? This is the game you didn't know you were playing. While you're trying to be understood, they're trying to win. And in that dynamic, your honesty is your handicap. Society programmed you perfectly for this, taught you that silence means you have something to hide. So you overshare to prove innocence. Communication solves everything. So you keep talking even when talking makes it worse. Expressing your feelings is healthy. So you hand them your emotional map. Being vulnerable builds trust. So you show your throat to someone holding a knife. All true in the right context, with the right people, in healthy dynamics, but in toxic ones, in manipulative ones, when dealing with people who see your authenticity as weakness to exploit. Every communication principle you learn becomes a weapon pointed at yourself. You watched it happen to others, the friend who tried to explain their side and somehow ended up apologizing, the colleague who defended their work and got labeled defensive, the man who showed emotion and lost all respect. And here's the part that makes you angry, really angry. You were taught that silence is weakness, that real men speak up, that not defending yourself makes you a coward. So you spoke up and became their puppet, dancing on strings made of your own words. The manipulator doesn't need to be smart. They just need you to be talkative. The gaslighter doesn't need elaborate schemes. They just need you to keep explaining until you contradict yourself. The narcissist doesn't need charisma. They just need you to fill the silence with your need for validation. Every word you say is a data point, a reference, a weapon they're stockpiling for the war you don't know is coming. But what if you stopped? What if you said nothing? What if you let their accusations hang in the air, unanswered, undefended, unafraid? What if, instead of filling the silence with your defense, you let them fill it with their truth? The ancient Stoics understood something about human nature that modern psychology is just rediscovering. In the absence of your words, people reveal themselves. Level 1, the recognition. Before you can master silence, you must recognize the trap in real time. They say something that hits your trigger. You feel the heat rising in your chest. Your mind starts formulating the perfect response, the perfect defense, the perfect counterattack. Stop right there. That impulse, that urge to speak, that need to defend yourself, that's not wisdom. That's programming. That's the trap activating. Your first practice, name it silently in your mind. This is the manipulation pattern. This is the bait. This is the trap I've fallen for before. Just naming it creates space between stimulus and response, between their attack and your reaction. Marcus Aurelius practiced this every morning. He'd write, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. Not to be negative, but to be prepared. To recognize the patterns before they trigger him. When they say something designed to make you react, when they twist your words, when they accuse you falsely, when they gaslight you, don't defend, don't explain, don't engage. Just think, I see what this is." That recognition, that awareness, that's level 1, and it changes everything. Level 2, the pause. Now comes the hardest part, the silence itself. They've accused you, you've recognized the trap, but every fiber of your being wants to speak. The silence feels like admitting guilt, like being weak, like losing. This is where most men break. Right here, in the discomfort of the pause. But here's what the Stoics knew, what science now proves. The discomfort you feel, they feel it 10 times worse, because you know you're silent by choice. They think you're silent because they've stumped you, cornered you, broken you, and that makes them desperate. Watch what happens in that pause. Really watch. Their confidence wavers. Their tone changes. They start talking more, filling the void, adding details, changing their story, revealing their strategy. Your practice, count to 10, slowly, in your mind. 1, 2, 3. Let the accusation hang in the air. 4, 5, 6. Watch their discomfort grow. 7, 8, 9. See them start to crack. 10. Now, you know everything you need to know. And here's the powerful part. You don't have to say anything. Just, I heard you, or interesting, or noted. Not agreement, not disagreement. Just acknowledgement without engagement. Then silence again. They'll try again. New angle, new accusation, new manipulation. Same response. Recognize. Pause. Minimal acknowledgement. Silence. Epictetus taught his students, first learn the meaning of what you say and then speak. He meant most of what people say is reactive, emotional, unthinking. The pause is where wisdom lives, where you separate reactive words from intentional speech. Level 3, the observation. Now you're not just silent, you're actively watching. What are they doing with your silence? The liar starts adding unnecessary details, trying to fill the void with credibility. The manipulator changes tactics, tries different angles, reveals their playbook. The narcissist gets angry, desperate, shows their need for your reaction. The gaslighter tries to make your silence about you. Why aren't you saying anything? Are you going to ignore me? Your silence is manipulative. And there it is, the projection, the truth. They're telling you that they need your words to win. Your silence is your victory, your practice. Keep a mental note. Watch the patterns. When I'm silent, they accuse me of avoiding. When I'm silent, they bring up the past. When I'm silent, they try to guilt me. When I'm silent, they attack my character. Each pattern is intelligence, information about their tactics, their fears, their weaknesses. You're not being passive. You're conducting forensic analysis. While they think they're winning, level 4, the strategic response. Eventually, if necessary, you might need to speak, but notice you're now choosing when, choosing what, choosing how, not reacting, responding, not defending, addressing, not explaining everything, stating the minimum, When Marcus Aurelius finally responded to his accusers, after months of silence, he didn't defend himself. He simply stated facts. No emotion, no justification, just reality. I did X. The result was Y. The empire stands. That's it. No, you're wrong about me. No, let me explain. Just facts result reality. Your practice. If you must speak, make it minimal, factual, final. That's not accurate. Let me explain why that's not accurate and give you all the context and show you why you're wrong. Just, that's not accurate. Then silence. Let them demand explanation. Let them ask why. Let them fill the air with noise. You've said what needed to be said. Once. Clearly. Done. Seneca wrote. He who has great power should use it lightly. Your words are power. Use them sparingly, strategically, devastatingly, not scattered like buckshot. Focus like a laser. One truth, stated calmly, is worth more than 1,000 emotional explanations. This is the transformation, from reactive to strategic, from victim to observer, from manipulated to untouchable. But there's one more level. The level that separates those who practice this from those who master it. The level where silence becomes more than strategy. It becomes your nature. 6 months from now, someone tries to manipulate you. They use the old tactics, the accusations, the twisting of your words, the emotional triggers, and something strange happens. You don't feel the urge to defend yourself. You don't feel the heat rising. You don't feel anything, not because you're dead inside, but because you're finally alive, outside their control. You look at them, really look at them, and you see it so clearly now. The desperation, the need, the weakness disguised as attack. They're not powerful. They're terrified of your silence, of your peace, of your untouchability. And you smile, not mockingly, not cruelly, just knowing, go ahead. Your eyes say, show me everything you are. And they do. They reveal their patterns, their tactics, their true nature, while you remain a mirror reflecting their chaos back at them without absorbing any of it. This is the new reality, the transformed state, the Stoic power. People notice. They can't help but notice. Your ex, the one who used to get you worked up with a single text, sends the usual provocations, gets nothing back, sends more, gets silence, escalates, gets peace, and slowly they stop, because without your reaction they have no game, no power, no supply. Your colleague, the one who used to undermine you in meetings, tries the usual sabotage. You don't defend, don't explain, don't react, just continue. Consistently, competently, calmly, and their attacks start looking desperate, unhinged, obviously manipulative to everyone else. While you look stable, confident, unbothered, the shift in rooms, undeniable. You walk in and there's something different, something they can't quite name. It's not aggression. It's not passivity. It's presence. The presence of someone who cannot be shaken because they refuse to play. The presence of someone who cannot be manipulated because they refuse to engage. The presence of someone who cannot be broken because they master the one thing no one can take. Their reaction to anything. Women notice it too. The way you don't chase validation. Don't over-explain. Don't fill every silence with nervous energy. The way you can sit in discomfort without breaking, without needing to fix it, without needing to be understood. It's magnetic because it's rare, because it's real power, not the power of words, the power of withholding them, not the power of reaction, the power of choosing not to. You're becoming what Marcus Aurelius described. A rock in the ocean, the waves crash against it, and still it stands, and the water around it becomes calm. The accusations come. You stand. The manipulations come. You stand. The provocations come. You stand. And eventually, the water becomes calm, because chaos can't sustain itself. Without someone feeding it energy, you've joined a lineage now, whether you realize it or not, a lineage of men who understood that the mouth can destroy what the mind has built, that silence is not emptiness. It's fullness, concentrated, controlled, complete. Marcus Aurelius, ruling an empire while his world crumbled, silent in the face of betrayal, victorious through consistency. Epictetus, enslaved but free in mind, silent in the face of torture, powerful through untouchability. Seneca, advising a madman, silent in the face of danger, wise through observation. And now, you, facing modern manipulations, ancient in their patterns, silent in the face of chaos, transformed through discipline. This isn't the end. This is the beginning. Because once you taste this power, this peace, this clarity, you can't go back. You won't go back to the reactive you, to the manipulated you, to the you who gave your power away with every word. That version died in the silence, in the pause, in the recognition that your words were never your strength. Your silence was. So here's the moment, the choice, the crossroads. You can go back to defending, explaining, justify, reacting, giving them the ammunition, the power, the control, or you can practice, starting now, with the next person who tries to bait you. When they accuse, you recognize. When they provoke, you pause. When they demand response, you observe. When they attack, you stand like a rock in the ocean, unmoved, while the waves crash and eventually become calm. The ancient Stoics didn't just know this philosophy. They lived it through wars, through betrayals, through empires' fall, and their words still echo 2,000 years later. Not because they talked the most, but because they knew when silence speaks louder than any words ever could. Your transformation starts in the next uncomfortable silence. Will you feel it, or will you let them reveal everything? The Stoics already know your answer. They're waiting for you to join them in the silence where true power lives.